Hello, sensational listener, wherever you happen to be. Thank you for stopping by my corner of the YouTube universe. My topic today, dealing with the NBA, is dealing with a sure to be first ballot Hall of Famer. It's Mr. LeBron James. Now, here's the principal topic, but I want to discuss, as you all know, if you're an NBA fan, you know the Los Angeles Lakers, they having their ups and downs this season. I think currently their record is 22-10. So a game below 500. I heard from many sports commentators, professional and YouTubers, that there was high expectation for the LA Lakers because they have so many Hall of Famers. Dwight Howard, number one. Carmelo Anthony, number 2. Russell Westbrook, number 3. LeBron James, number 4. And I believe they have Rondo, which he probably will get into the Hall of Fame. He got two NBA titles, and he was a heavy contributor in both those titles. So he may be a fringe Hall of Famer. He may not be a first ballot, but he may end up there someday. So, as you all know, the LA Lakers are struggling. And you all know, if you pay attention to the NBA scene, it's two individuals who get the lion's share of the blame. One, Mr. Russell Westbrook. He do deserve some of the blame because he's lousy in so many regards. From what I heard today, he's a 30% three-point shooter, which is terrible. He's a 69% free throw shooter, which is terrible if you're a point guard. And he's a turnover machine. His average turnovers, from what I heard, is like 4 turnovers a game, dating back to many years. So if he get 8 assists, you can say he turned it over 4 times. So that's basically like one half. 4 over 8, one half. So he may make a good pass or he may make a bad pass. That's Russell Westbrook. And I've heard the coach, Mr. Frank Vogel, he may be under fire. You all know whenever a coach is not performing up to standards or what they think you should be getting, they're always on a hot seat. But there's one thing these so-called genius commentators, and I can't blame the YouTubers because they're just like a normal person like me that's giving their opinion. But I'm just going to say the professional commentators, I'm not going to name any names, they forget about the legacy of LeBron James. He can be a big contributor into the Lakers losing. I'm going to give an example. And I'm not going to make it a quick video. I'm just going to give my example of how he is a contributor. He can be a negative factor to this. One, when he was with the Miami, well, we already know his first stint was with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think he was there for about 7 years. He came there in 2003. Yeah, he left 2010, so he was there for about 7 years. His team made it to the finals versus the San Antonio Spurs. I think they got swept. See, that's one of his biggest things. He likes to get swept a lot, but he's the GOAT. He got swept, but the GOAT got swept. And as soon as he's depart, the Cleveland Cavaliers went into the dump. Now, if you know anything about most Hall of Fame level players, I even go back to Magic Johnson. I'm going to start with Magic Johnson. I'm going to go further. Dr. J. I'm going to start with him because we forget about them. We just think about Magic, Bird. So I'm going to go with Dr. J. And there's others before him, but I'm going to start with him, Dr. J. Now I'm going to say Magic and Bird and Jordan. Whenever they left the team, at least they made the playoff the next season. Then they probably got a little bit terrible over time. But the next season, Dr. J, Magic Johnson or Irvin Johnson, and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan when they left their team, at least the preceding season, the team still make the playoff. It seemed like, hey, when LeBron James leave, the team is in terrible shape. We saw that with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They was in the dumpster for a long time. When he left the Miami Heat, they went into the dumpster. When he left Cleveland this time, they did poor the next season, but I heard they on track this season. So that separates him from the other elite players. The other elite players basically play in a system where there was a lot of ball movement or a decent amount of ball movement. If you watch LeBron James, like I've been watching him, you know he like to hold the ball for at least 5 seconds. Dribble, 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 dribble. Then he pass. With him, from what I've seen of him, there is no fluent passing of the ball. The ball goes with him, it's dribbled, then it's passed to someone else, and they do what they got to do. So, one thing we've learned, when he leave a team, they go down into the dumpsters. But not just that. When he's with the team for a number of years, the first year they may do wonderful. But even when he was with the first year in Miami Heat, they struggled a while. I think they struggled for about 7 games because they had to acclimate themselves to playing with LeBron James. See, many top players in the NBA, they don't join him like Kawhi Leonard and many others, so I can't think of. Kawhi Leonard, many others. Don't join top elite players, Kevin Durant. They don't join him because with him, there's always some level of confusion and deterioration. But as I was saying, when he was with Miami Heat, they struggled for a while. They struggled. And then, when they got to the finals, they still struggled for whatever reason. For whatever reason. So, when LeBron James, what I'm trying to say, when LeBron James is on a team, it's not like it may get to the playoffs, it may get to the playoffs or even to the final, but it's not a cohesive unit. Like right now, the LA Lakers are not a cohesive unit. When he went back to Cleveland, yes, I think they won like 60 games. So I said whenever he goes somewhere the first year is a good year. It's a wonderful first year. The next year, and the year after that, they start to struggle. If you look back, the second 2 years in Cleveland, the team struck the struggle. Even though they won a championship, they struggled. I don't think Larry Bird teams struggled the next year after winning a championship. I don't think Magic Johnson teams struggled the next year after winning a championship. And definitely not Michael Jordan. His team keep humming. Even Dr. J, his team don't struggle after the next years. When he was in Cleveland, I heard from many YouTube professional speakers on YouTube that the Cleveland Cavaliers, they still was getting blown out. Like the LA Lakers now. They may have a lead, and they relinquished the lead. So even when LeBron James was on other teams, many times his team still had a big lead, but something happened where the other team come back on him. The same thing that's happened with previous team is the same thing that's happening in LA. So we just cannot put... Yes, they blame. The coach got some blame. Russell Westbrook is to blame. But somebody should be looking at LeBron James, how he was on other teams. How was he? Like, for instance, he beat the San Antonio Spurs, but it was a struggle. Like commentators or people I listen to, they love to say that Ray Allen saved him. Whether he did or not, it doesn't matter. Because you're not going to, in every play, in all playoffs, you always have some role player who make a big shot for the team. So I'm not going to say if Ray Allen saved them or not. But I know it was a struggle to beat the Spurs. And they won that championship, so they gave him 2. When he went back the next year, we saw his team got swept again. So he got two sweeps. He got swept by the San Antonio Spurs in the early 2000s, like less than 2010. I forgot which date he went his first trip to the finals. I forgot that. But he got swept by the Spurs then. Then several years later, after beating the Spurs by a lucky shot, the next year the Spurs came back ready. They was ready for his style of play, him holding the ball. Because you remember, when LeBron James on the team, you don't see fluid, free-flowing ball movement. It's none of that. They basically play the way he want to play. No free ball movement. He hold the ball for about at least good 5 seconds or more. So, once more, his team got swept in the finals. But the people didn't want to mention that. Could LeBron James also be a contributor to his team loss? Because I already made a video on about why Anthony Davis may be doing poorly, because a certain individual demands to have the limelight. But when he has the limelight, the team suffer for the most part. Not all the time, but when he faced those Spurs, the Spurs whipped him and embarrassed him by the, quote, largest margin in NBA Finals history. Yes, the Spurs beat him by the largest margin in Finals history. So how can he be the GOAT when the Spurs completely demolished his team? And then, see, LeBron James, he's not good at taking defeat, because as soon as the Spurs pistol whipped him, he said, okay, I'm leaving now. See, remember, when the going is tough, he liked to leave. He said, I'm leaving now, I'm going back to Cleveland. But as I stated, the first year in Cleveland was nice because it was a honeymoon. But when they got to know LeBron James and the way he liked to run things, the team was surrendering many leads. And you can go back and check, because I like to listen to a lot of old telecasts on YouTube. His teams, according to many professional commentators, kept squandering leads, just like the Lakers are now. So, in hindsight, people, before I leave and say my farewell, could LeBron James also be a contributing factor? Could there be 3 people responsible for this? By the way they play the game. Because, like I say with him, and even when I watch the Lakers, the ball is not moving fluently. Yes, just like in Cleveland, the second time around, they have a lot of big leads. A lot. They probably lost 9 games by squandering the lead. They could have been way above they could have been like, let me see, my attitude to they could have been like 30 wins and 22 losses. Above, a little bit above 500. But, like I said, the same devil, the same demon that plagued him and his team in Cleveland, and probably Miami, but he did do in Miami the second season. I think they had a big winning stretch, but he never had them stretches when he went back to Cleveland or any other team. And Miami, I remember the team had like a 17-game winning streak, something like that, because he was playing with another superstar who loved him. Dwayne Wade was a superstar in his own right. See, most of the people LeBron play with are not a superstar in their own right. Yes, Kyrie Irving is good, but LeBron helped to make him. Dwayne Wade was already a made man, and he showed LeBron how to become a winner. Dwayne Wade showed him that. But, getting back to my original assumption, remember, when he got separated from Dwayne Wade and he went back to Cleveland, the team squandered a number of big leads. Go back and check. Now that he's in LA, and he having the same trouble he had in Cleveland the second time around, like when Kyrie Irving Kyrie Irving left because he couldn't deal with LeBron James' personality. Now, some reason, Anthony Davis is not the player who he was with the Pelicans. Could that be on LeBron James? So before I go, people, remember, can 3 people be involved in the Lakers' loss? Number 1, LeBron James. Remember, his previous team had a number of leads and they squandered it. Number 1, yes, Russell Westbrook, he is making some boneheaded plays and etc., but one person cannot make you lose so many games. Even with Russell Westbrook there, they had big leads and they squandered it. He can't be responsible for them squandering the lead like that. And number 3, the coach has his part to play too, because he should be emphasizing fluid ball movement, not one player holding the ball and dribbling for 5 seconds or more. So that's it, my good people. Give me what you think in the comments section. Till the next time, peace.